friend, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be showing you what I've read in September. As you can see, my reading month has been a lot better than the last month that I have read. In August I've read 4 books, and in September I have read 8 books. The first book that I've read in September is The Just Hair, and I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked it. It's a fantasy book, and this is the first book in a duology. The second book is already out, and it's The Just Crown. I didn't like the long chapters in this book. When I'm going to sleep and I say I'm gonna read one last chapter, I don't want it to take 30 minutes to read. You know, I want it to take maybe 5 minutes or maybe 10 at most, but these chapters were really long. This book is about a land where magic is supposed to have been gone. The people having magic were supposed to be dead. They were mostly killed. However, the main character in this book is Jasadi. She's the Just Heir, and it's not a spoiler, it's literally the name of the book. And she has powers. However, she has like kind of bracelets or manacle or whatever that's keeping her from using her magic, so she has never used it and she doesn't really know how. Arian was supposed to choose a champion and he chose Sylvia, so now she has to train. And the only thing that kept me from giving this book 5 stars is the fact that we didn't really see a lot of training for Sylvia. She was kept in, not a basement, but kind of, and she's supposed to train to be a champion, but it was just told that she was training. We didn't really see what the training was about, so I wanted to see more of that. She was supposed to train for 3 trials, and the trials were also really short. They were not talked enough, I think, in the book, so that's another thing that kept me from giving this book 5 stars. There's a little bit of romance in this, so it's not really a romantasy, but you can see tension and whatnot in this book, and I would recommend it. The next book that I have read is Done and Dusted. This is the first book in a series, and I think there's 4 books in this series. I gave this book 3.5 stars, and I'm looking there because I have my Goodreads review. This was a cheesy cowboy romance. It was a real page-turner for me, but it was really cheesy. This is about Clementine and Luke. She comes back in their small town, and the first thing that she does with one of her friends is going to a bar, but she doesn't know that Luke is now the owner, and Luke is her brother's friend. So there's that trope. Clementine's friend Teddy is really a really good friend in this book. I really like her characters and how she was with Clementine. She was really understanding and helpful, so it was nice to see that. It was also nice to see the whole story about Luke and how he became friends with the Ryder family and why it was blocking him kind of to be with Clementine. But yeah, overall I really like this story and I would recommend it if you like a cheesy little cowboy romance. The third book that I have read is Brutal Prince. I gave this book 3 stars, but yeah, I don't know why I thought it would be better. I've heard a lot about that book, so I had high expectation, but yeah, it was not that bad, but not the best book that I've ever read. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed about that. This is a story about an arranged marriage between the Griffins and the Gallows. They are 2 powerful families in Chicago. It's not a mafia romance, but in the same style, if I can say. The 2 main characters in this book, they really don't like each other. If you want a book for the spice, this is almost only that. they were doing the deed almost at any moment that was not supposed to be that. Their first time together was after he nearly killed her in a pool, and then at the end they both almost died, and then instead of, I don't know, taking a fucking nap, they just banged. Yeah. There was a bad guy in this story and it was kind of obvious to know who it was, but whatever. The two main characters were supposed to hate each other, but I feel like the hate part of their relationship was really short. They started to like each other really fast, and I don't know, I kind of wish we saw them more hate each other. The only thing that I liked about this book is Ada, the female main character. She was really a strong uh, character and she had a strong personality. She didn't let people walk around on her without saying anything, and she really was a fighter, so that was nice. And there's also pictures in the book. I won't try to show something that spoils the book, but pictures like that. Yeah, it was nothing too crazy, nothing too bad, just, you know, a book to read, and that's kind of it. The next book that I have read is King of Wrath. This is the first book in this series, and I think it's supposed to be a 7-book series, and I don't think all the books are out yet. This is about Dante and Vivian. It's also an arranged marriage. It was a page turner, but not because it was that good. It was just really entertaining. Some things in this book felt either useless or forced. There's a part in the story where there's a burglary. I don't know if I'm saying the words right. A burglary, and the whole scene, it felt uh, useless. There's not much that came out of it. Some things came out of it, but I feel like there's a much bigger thing that could have been done with that, but it was just lost potential in my opinion. I'm really glad that Vivian's father got what he deserved at the end. He was a real asshole, and I hate when authors write bad people, but they always give them redemption arc. He didn't need one, and I'm really glad that she didn't give him one. I had a great time reading it, so that's kind of it. This is A Touch of Darkness, and this is the first book in a series. This is a Persephone and Hades retelling, kind of. I gave this 3 stars, and in this book they also banged at the weirdest moment. I remember that one time Persephone was in the garden after they slept together, and she was just there, and then she turned and Hades was there. She just went to him, and then they started banging, standing up. Like, you could have just gone to bed or sleep or not do that. It was really useless. It didn't bring anything to the book. This really was a book for the spies. The story was okay. It was not something new, something that I've never read about. Don't get me wrong, I like smut in a book, I like spicy scene, but I like when they are well done, well placed, when they serve a purpose. I don't like when it's just there to be there. I feel like when it's done that way, it's because the plot is so shit that you have to put it there to make it better, but it doesn't make it better. It just makes the book longer to read, and it brings nothing, so maybe don't do that. The conflict in this book, I feel like it was forced. The way Persephone was mad because Hades hadn't said something and he chose to keep it for himself, and then she discovered it when they talked about it, she just was really mad, even if he tried to explain himself. And then they didn't talk for a while, and after that she saw him and it was good. You don't have to talk about it, you have to, like, nothing, it just goes away like that. It was really, really weird. The attraction between the two characters in this book was really, really fast. So this book, full of spice, plot, and yeah, it was a book. The next book that I have read in September is Spiral. This is the second book in this series. I think it's the Of the Ice series, something like that. The first book is Collide. This story is about Elias, whatever. His name in the book is Eli, and it's about Sage. As you can see, he's an hockey player and she's a ballerina. I gave this book 4 stars, and this book is not on Kindle Unlimited. This book is a romance and it's a fake relationship between those two. I really, really liked Eli's character in this. He's almost a perfect book boyfriend, but nothing is too perfect. He was really understanding with Sage. He was helping her any way he could. He was cooking for her. He was doing self-care nights with her. And it was really nice to see the evolution of their relationship together, because both of them, we could see that they were starting to like each other, but we could also see that they didn't want to tell the other that they were having feelings, because they had rules and one of them was not to fall in love. So it was really nice. Also, Sage and her brother had a really great story, despite what their parents did to them. And they had their uncle, who's the general manager for Eli's hockey team, so it was also helpful to be with her for him. I would definitely recommend this book, and it was an easy and quick read. The next book that I have read is Long Shadow. This is the third and final book in this series. This is the Regency fairy tale series. The first book is Half a Soul, and the second book is 10,000 Stitches. This story is about Abigail and Mercy. Abigail is the daughter of Elias, so another Elias. He's one of the characters in Half a Soul. They are all standalones, but they are connected, so you don't have to read the first two to read this one, but it would definitely help understanding some of the things in this. There's a mystery in this, and Abigail is trying to find who killed 3 of the girls in England. She finds Mercy in the room of the 3rd girl, and now they are helping each other trying to find who did it, because in Mercy's side, 3 of her friends did disappear. So they think the two things are connected, and they are trying to work together to find who did that. This book is a love story between those two. And one of the reasons I didn't give this 4 stars or 5 stars is because there was a lot of repetition. Abigail kept saying how she loved Mercy's hand. She had really long fingers, and I don't really know, but she kept saying how her hands were beautiful and things like that, and it was kind of too much for hands. I really like the way Abigail found out she was attracted to women in this book. It was not something that we knew from the beginning. Well, if you read the back, yes, but if you read from Abigail's perspective in the beginning, you don't really know that. Once we reached the part where we knew where to look to find who did it, it was really obvious who did it, and I'm glad they got what they deserved. There's one character in this, Lucy, one of the 3 dead girls. She was really annoying, and I'm really glad that she also got what she deserved. She didn't change for the whole book, and she was insufferable. really not a great character, but it was a great addition to the book. I was really happy to finish this series because I liked it, but it was not the best thing that I've read. However, I will still recommend this book because it was a nice and cozy read. The last book that I have read in September is Fearful. This is the last, and I hope last book in this series. I am really happy to finish this. I had high hopes for this because the first novella, Powerful, I gave this 6 stars, and the second full book in this series, Reckless, was not so good in my opinion, but the last book, Fearless, was a big miss for me. I hated it. It was just too long and not enjoyable. I had so many questions at the end that were not answered in the book, and I thought they would be with this one. Not at all. I don't know if she chose to change her writing style, but it was really weird. She put a lot of parentheses and line to separate, I think, the thoughts of Mara in this book, and it was almost on every pages, and sometimes more than one time, so it was really annoying to read that. This is the story about Mara and Kit. We also see a little bit of Lenny, and if you don't know who they are, maybe you should read the first books in the series because I don't want to spoil anything. But Mara is a new character, I think, because if not, I don't remember her. I won't tell you too much about this because if I do, I will spoil the last book in this series, and it's one of the few things that surprised me in the last book, so I won't spoil it for you because it's maybe the only fun that you'll have reading it. I really hated the end of this book. If you know about Twilight, you know about Jacob and Renesmee. When Jacob sees Renesmee for the first time, he imprints on her or whatever, and I think there's a moment like that in the book, but I'm really not sure. In the end, I won't say with who and who, but it was weird, really weird. I don't know if I will spoil anything, but if you don't want any maybe spoiler, you should skip this review, but I will say what I have to say now. I thought this was supposed to be a love story between Mara and Kit. However, in the end, Mara does a whole 180 when Kit doesn't want to be with her. He's super polite with it, and she's just really mad. What the hell, girl? I get that you're dead, but it's really normal for a human to not want to be with death. So I get that he's supposed to... Ooh. So I get that you had something for him, but why are you mad that he doesn't? With this small book, my opinion of Kit hasn't changed. I still hate him. I have nothing good to say about him, and I don't think I have something good to say about this book. It was a waste of my time. I feel mad thinking about this book. It was really a waste of time. I had so much hope for this, but just because of the first novella, because the other books, yeah. These are all the books that I have read in September. If you have read any of those and you have something to say about them, we can discuss this in the comments below. If you want to fight with me on my ratings, we can also do that in the comments below. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!